Hi, welcome to lesson number 17. This lesson is entitled TQM, or Total Quality Management, and it's a good one to follow on from the previous lesson, lesson 16, which talked about ISO 9001 and the importance of having a good quality system or in place to ensure compliance with ISO 9001. We did talk a little bit about TQM in lesson 16, but I'm going to delve into that a little bit deeper in this lesson. So the objectives or the main aims of the following lesson are to go through the definition and explain a little bit about what TQM, or Total Quality Management, is about. We'll go through the beliefs, the TQM beliefs that come from top management, as well as the benefits of implementing a TQM in your company, the principles of TQM, as well as the reasons for failure of the management system, as well as some of the limitations that TQM can apply. So as an introduction then, competition is getting harder and becoming more global. So companies now have to be more responsive and offer a better product and keep improving continually to keep up with global demand. And TQM, or Total Quality Management, increases customer satisfaction by boosting the quality of their products. And it does this by motivating the workforce and improving the way the company acts. In an increasingly competitive market, firms with a continuous improvement culture and external focus are more likely to survive and prosper when TQM is implemented in their companies. So TQM really is about motivating your workforce and improving the way the company operates from the top down. And just as a definition, I'm going to break up the total quality management into three parts and explain each one individually before explaining the overall concept. So the T stands for total, which is it refers to the involvement and the input of everybody from top management right down through all employees that are working in the company. So it encompasses the whole site. Quality then is to fully meet the customer needs and exceed those needs and meet the customer requirements at all times. And management then is the way we act, operate our policies and procedures, the way we control and handle them, including the training of the staff. So if all of those three subsections are in place successfully, then we have what we call a total quality management system. And really it's TQM is an approach to improving the effectiveness and flexibility of a business as a whole. It's essentially a way of organizing and involving the whole organization, every department, every activity, and every single person at every level. TQM ensures that the management adopts a strategic overview of the quality and focuses on prevention rather than inspection. So one of the definitions that was pulled from one of the regulations is as follows. TQM can be defined as a management philosophy that seeks to integrate all organizational functions such as marketing, finance, engineering, customer services, quality, to focus on meeting customer needs and organizational objectives. So continuing on this train of thought, what is TQM? Again, we'll dig a little bit deeper. Firstly, just to explain the significance of TQM, it's important. The importance of TQM lies in the fact that it encourages innovation and makes the organization adaptable to change. It motivates people for better quality, and it integrates the business arising out of a common purpose. And all these provide the organization with a very valuable and distinctive competitive edge in global markets. So TQM really is there's three main core levels, if you like, of TQM. The first is that it meets customer requirements, which is the primary objective, and it's the key to the survival and growth of the company. The second being that it's TQM is very much a continuous improvement ethos, continuous improvement of quality. The management should stimulate the employees to become increasingly competent and creative in their job. And finally, TQM aims at adopting or developing the relationship of openness and trust among the employees at all levels in the organization. So I've split it down here in the slide. Again, just to reiterate, it focuses on meeting customer requirements and providing quality services at a reasonable cost. It focuses on continuous improvement. That's a very important key phrase that will come up again when we talk about TQM. It's continuous improvement of quality. And then the involvement of employees is so important. It must recognize their role in the organization and view organization as an internal system with a very common aim across every department. It should focus on the way tasks are accomplished and encourage teamwork at all times. And these principles or objectives of TQM are driven at all times from top management down. So you do need buy-in from upper management to ensure a good TQM within your site. So TQM, what it is and what it is not, this little spreadsheet here just details out what TQM is. It's a commitment to customer satisfaction, and it's an involvement of all functions and all cross-functional teams within the site are involved in TQM. It's a continuous improvement business ethos. It's based on fact. It focuses on prevention, and it's a proactive improvement from within. So we don't wait for an error or a quality deviation to occur before we implement TQM. TQM is built into the process. So it's not a passing fad or merely conforming to customer requirements. It's not just the responsibility of quality department. It is a site-wide initiative, and every department or every employee is involved in implementing it. It's not narrow focused and sub-optimization of resources. It's not based on opinions. It's based on fact. It's not dependence on correction, and it's not reactive only when there are complaints or quality defects. So the following are some universal total quality management beliefs. The first one being that the owner, the customer satisfaction is a measure of quality, and everybody is an owner or a customer of the final product. Quality improvement must be a continuous process at all times. Analysis of the process is the key to quality improvement. So you look at the process as a whole and how each piece knits together to create one entire process, and you analyze that from beginning to end. Measurement, a skilled use of analytical tools, and employee involvement are critical sources of quality improvement ideas and innovations. Sustained total quality management is not possible without active, visible, consistent and enabling leadership by managers at all levels. And again, that comes up quite often when we talk about TQM, the driving force behind it being the upper level. And it is essential to continuously improve the quality of products and services that is produced for the owners or the customers, the stakeholders. So some of the benefits of implementing a TQM system within your site is the obvious one being that it makes your company a company leader and not a follower, which obviously has its own gains. Meeting customer requirements, which makes the company more sensitive to customer needs. Continuous improvement of quality, again that comes up again, continuous improvement of quality at all times makes the company adapt more easily to change. Developing relationships between employees and management, it fosters good teamwork. The benefits to the customers then include things like fewer problems with the product or the service, there's better customer care and customer focus, and so greater satisfaction from both your customer and your company and your employees as a whole. So this slide focuses on some of the elements of TQM. I'll just go into them in a little bit more detail. The first one being that TQM is requires you to become more customer focused. So it requires a company to check customers' attitudes regularly and include the idea of internal customers as well as external customers. So what that means is your employees are considered to be customers also, as well as your external customers or your people who are buying your product. You need to do it right the first time. So this means avoiding rework and cutting down the amount of defective product that's produced, which obviously will improve on costs. You need to educate and train your workforce. So an unskilled workforce will make mistakes, and giving more skills to workers means that they can do a wider range of jobs and have a greater skill set and do better for themselves. It also means educating staff in the principles of TQM, which is a whole new style of working really. So that's something you can only learn when you work in that environment, the importance of TQM. The other thing then is measure the work. So measurement allows the company to make decisions based on facts and not opinion. It helps to maintain standards and keep processes within the agreed tolerances. Top management must be involved. If senior management is not involved, then the program will absolutely fail. Make it a good place to work. So many companies are full of fear, and staff are afraid of getting unemployment. They're afraid of their direct supervisor and afraid of negative feedback and of making mistakes. There's no point in running a TQM program unless the company drives out fear and encourages teamwork as being the optimal way to actually get better performance from everybody on site. So again, introduce teamwork, which boosts employees' morale and reduces conflict and solves problems by hitting them with a wider range of skills. It pushes authority and responsibility downwards and provides better, more balanced solutions for employees working. The next one is to organise by process and not by function. So this element of TQM seeks to reduce the barriers that exist between different departments and concentrates on getting the product to the customer. So we need to look at TQM, we've mentioned previously, as a whole process. So it's not an individualised set of management or quality within each department. It's an entire process knitted together. Constantly improve is another important one. So continuous improvement allows the company to gradually get better. Quality is an attitude, and everyone has to be committed to quality to allow TQM to work. This means changing the attitude of the entire workforce and altering the way that the company operates. And you must tell the staff at all times what's going on and keep them informed. So communication is vital. Typically, it involves team briefings or monthly meetings or weekly meetings to keep staff involved and engaged in the TQM policies, as well as how things are going with respect to audits, etc. So to summarize, the quality TQM principles will be the following three. So inspection of the process is as important as inspection of the product. Use the principles of get it right the first time, every time. And finally, understand that quality is a journey and not a destination. So that those 3 points really speak for themselves when it comes to the ethos of TQM. So when we talked about the ISO 9001 guidelines, we talked about the importance of implementing your TQM, and we talked about the 7 principles that are necessary to implement a successful TQM system within your company. So I just want to briefly go through some of the principles again, just to reiterate the importance of them. So the first one would be customer focus, whereby the company must place the customer at the center of attention in order to understand their needs so that they can meet or exceed the customer's expectations. The next one then being leadership. So they need to establish a unity of purpose and organizational directions where all members of an organization can come to share a common cause or a common goal. Involvement of the entire workforce by creating an environment without fear that encourages every employee's involvement and achievements of the organization's objectives. Process approach then, which I've talked about, recognizes that things are accomplished as a result of an entire process and not individual segments as such. Strategic and systematic approach to management. A company's strategic plan must include quality as a core component. The strategy here is doing the right thing right the first time and every time. Moving on then, continual improvement. So creating a culture of continuous improvement for 0 defects, 0 errors and 0 accidents. Some of the tools that can be used to monitor and improve processes are things like flowcharts, Pareto diagrams, cause and effect diagrams, fishbone diagrams, and we do touch on them in later slides. Factual approach to decision making. So decisions must only be made based on fact, on reliable data, and on reliable systems. Mutually beneficial supplier relationships is a new one I've included, where both the company and the supplier can benefit from one another's resources and know how resulting in knowing that this will result in value for all if they work together. So some of the reasons for failure of a TQM or total quality management system would be some of the obvious ones would be that top management see no reason for change and so don't support the implementation of TQM. The management are not concerned for its staff or for its employees, and they're not committed to the TQM program. The company loses interest in the program after a period of time because it involves continuous improvement and continuous assessment. So they could lose interest. The workforce and the management do not agree on what needs to happen and what needs to happen when. Or sometimes urgent problems on site intervene and obviously take priority. TQM is imposed sometimes on the workforce, which does not which the workforce won't inwardly accept this change that's coming. No performance measures or targets are set, so progress cannot be measured, so you don't know how well you're doing. Processes are not analysed, systems are weak, and procedures are not written down or documented. And finally, some of the limitations associated with implementing your system is the cost in time and money. So implementing TQM takes many years and substantial costs can accrue, mainly due to the lengthy process of training employees, which takes a significant investment by the company in terms of money and of resources. And fear of change comes from your employees or your staff, where they're really not sure about the impact of implementing your TQM system. So employees can sometimes resist change due to fear, uncertainty and doubt. So open communication there is vital to ensure that your TQM is successful. And that's it. Thank you for listening, and we can move on to the next lesson.